Hey, I'm Christy with Rising North. And first, I want to discuss a little bit about what the role of the shaman actually is before we get into common misconceptions regarding the shamanic path. A shaman is a person that is a healer. They have the gift of being able to work between the spirit realm and the physical realm, the human realm, to bring messages and bring healing to people and animals, the earth herself. They are basically a liaison. They are acting as a bridge between the physical and the non-physical. This is a role that is not to be taken lightly. The shaman is called by the spirits. This is not something that somebody goes and seeks, although maybe some do. Um, I don't know why you would, to be honest with you, because your life, when you are called into this work and you are called in onto the shamanic path, you experience it almost is an absolute that you're going to experience near death experiences. And when you hear about near-death experiences, our mind naturally goes to the physical death experience, right? Of almost dying physically. And I will say that it can certainly be that. Um, but more so, I feel like it speaks to a death, several deaths, and several rebirths that the shaman encounters on their journey. What does this look like? This looks like as the spirits begin to work with you, illusions, um, false belief systems, your self that you've built, your egoic self that you've built in the years that you have been in this physical incarnation begin to be stripped away. And I will say, from my own experience only, and only take what resonates for you. Do not take anything that doesn't resonate fully with you and your intuition. You will recognize truth for you when you hear it. Um, the shaman does go through, it does bring you to your knees, right? Numerous times. And it's almost a crisis of sorts. There's a chance that your whole world is going to be uprooted. And I can only speak for myself here and say that my world was uprooted. And I have spoken about this in other videos, so I'm not going to really go into it here, but I will just say that it is not for the weak. It is, you are handing over your life, I consider it to be, and I'm only using my own language here. Um, you are handing over your life to do this work. It is not. When I hear people speak about the shamanic path as demonic and as a path that you're working, in darkness and evil, sure, you had to face your shadows. Sure, you had to go through much darkness. That was all to prepare you for the work of the shaman. If you didn't go through that, you can't possibly work with people who are in their deepest, darkest places. You would be afraid of the shadows like most people are, and you wouldn't willingly venture in to help people and to heal energetic imbalances in people and in animals and in the earth herself. So, first, I want to say that if you are called to this work, congratulations. It is a gift. It is a gift that needs to be taken very seriously and honored um, if you are chosen for this role. The second thing that I would like to point out about the shaman and the role of the shaman is it is really between the shaman and the spirits. And there is no human being, and of course, the mentors that are meant to be on your path, you will know who they are and you will naturally gravitate towards them and you will work with them for however long you need to work with them. And follow that. Follow your intuition always, 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 and follow the guidance of the spirits always. I, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because our society is built on things you can physically see, proof and evidence, and people want to see certifications. People want to see with their eyes what you have gone through to get to where you are, right? To prove who you are. And in the spiritual realm, as somebody who works with the spiritual realm on a daily basis, I will tell you that the spirits think this is hysterical, that we place so much value in this preconceived notion that people's worth or their value need to be proven or their gifts need to be proven. It would be the equivalent of, say, Jesus were still walking on the earth with us right now. It would be the equivalent of us asking Jesus or us asking the Buddha or us asking any of the greats that have changed the evolution and changed our whole entire world with their power and their healing gifts. It would be like us asking them, hey, we need to see your certification. Where's your certificate? Who did you study under? It's laughable, really. The the work that the shaman does with the spirits is mostly behind the curtain, is mostly in aspects that that really cannot be defined. It is through time and energy and work in developing that relationship, learning how to understand each other, learning about the call, learning how to decipher who you are meant to work with, learning the different modalities that the spirits want you to use in your work, basically strengthening that relationship with the spiritual realm is the most important part of the work. And that is not for the humans um, to decide upon. That is not something that can be proven. The evidence of the shaman is in the work that they do, is in their gifts themselves. And when their gifts are being utilized and given to humanity in any capacity, that is the evidence. That is the proof. So I hope that brings clarity to somebody out there that needed to hear this message because it just, when these messages come through, then I need to talk about them. I simply just listen and I do what the spirits are asking me to do. And so this is one of those times that I need to bring a little bit of clarity. The last thing that I would like to say in this message is about the honor. And I'm sure you're getting that from this message, but it's an honor to be called by the spirits. It is the highest of honors to work with the spiritual realm. Um, I feel as though, and this is, I'm sure, my ego, okay? I'm sure this is my ego coming through right now. It's a little offensive to me when people judge the work that I do, um, or what it is that I do at all as anything negative because I am here. I have sacrificed my life in so many ways to uplift the planet and uplift lives and bring healing to the collective, um, to compliment people, to uplift people, to bring people, to raise people higher. Um, so I find it slightly offensive when anybody doesn't understand the work that I do or the work that any healer does and judges them based upon our society's limited, very limited capacity to open to higher possibilities and new ways of being, right? And operating systems that have been in place in particularly in organized religion that I was a part of for a long part of my life, right? A long duration of my life, I belonged to a church. I was raised in the Catholic Church and I received all my sacraments in the Catholic Church. And I went to church every week religiously until, my early 30s, I guess. So I understand organized religion and it certainly brings a lot of good to our planet. So I'm not negating that. What I am saying is, when we live in a structure that is unable to open to new possibilities and is limited in its capacity to expand and allow for people to bring their gifts that do not follow traditional a traditional path, when people are called into this work, I would just ask that you are receptive and consider opening to new possibilities so that we can eradicate old structures that aren't able to support new ways of navigating this beautiful body that we inhabit and the beautiful planet that we inhabit. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.